but rather it's kind of like a singular orthodoxy that has ruled the Democratic Party since 2008. Basically, it was a bunch of people, because I think that this is actually the core of the problem. So we're in agreement on this, that you had this class of political operatives that entered in 2008 with Obama, who were young and hungry and like ready to take on the world. And Obama won in this massive, massive way in 2008 that also included Congress and Senate. And as a result, they said, okay, well, like clearly our way must be the best way. It's this new way with data and, field operations and so on and so forth. And in one way, they weren't wrong, because in 2012, he also, beat out Mitt Romney. But in another way, they really, again, did not humble themselves by saying, okay, well, what are the additional factors that led to our victory? One of which was 8 years of George W. Bush, of the Iraq War, and of course, like the October surprise and the 2008 recession. And so both things were happening. So I think that Obama was always going to win because of the reaction to Republican. But and then you had the additional amplification of his victory by his tactics. But what's so interesting to me is that, like, I was just saying, starting in 2010, there was a massive upset. In 2012, Obama wins the presidency, and wins the Senate, but if I'm not mistaken, Congress goes to Republicans. And then in 2014, both the Congress, both the House and the Senate are controlled by Republicans. And then in 2016, you also have you have the Democrats lose in the presidency. So in reality, like, Obama didn't win in his time. And even worse, actually, statistically, he oversaw like the worst reduction in terms of totality of Democratic elected official seats, both not just at the federal level, but at the state level over his 8-year period. But nonetheless, his political operatives continued to control the Democratic Party and its operations up until today.
Okay, this has been my theory for so long of this, so I have a lot to say on this. If you look back at think pieces after Obama got elected, the mainstream thought, not just in liberal media, like in legacy, or what we would have called back then mainstream media, and definitely what liberals thought in liberal media, was that Democrats were going to win the next century. Republicans were not going to be able to win anymore. And it was because Obama came together with this huge coalition. He had the right tactics, but not only, like, the demographics of the country were going to change, and it was going to get much less white. And as the country got less white, none of these non-white people were going to vote for racist, evil, religious Republicans. And so in my opinion, and I made a video about this, the response to that was always an irrational thing to think for Democrats. Somebody probably should have checked them on that. I'm sure people did. But what happens when you check them on that is those people, the dissenting people, get pushed out. So if you are entering into this thing where you guys think it, not you guys, because you don't think this, but when
I did though. It's okay. You can lump me in with that, because, and again, this is where I'm going to put my hand up and admit that I was wrong, because I believed that. I was 17 years old, so I didn't get to vote for Obama in 2008, but I was there and I was involved in politics until 2014. I left professionally, but I was still involved, and I, was in debates, and I volunteered, and, I went to fundraisers, and all of my friends were still in politics, but I was there, and I believed wholeheartedly 100% that demographics were destiny. That was the line, and that's what I believed, because there's no way that, a bunch of non-white people would vote for the racist, anti-Semitic Republican Party. So you can let me in for that.
Well, I don't mean to, but like the point I think what the problem was that if people truly believed that, and they did, and you did, why are you going to call out, you guys are going to win no matter what? So why are you going to critique the person who's going to win? Because if you critique that person, and critique is a nice way of putting it, if you have a dissenting opinion, they're just going to kick you out.